about 4 years old at the time.
And Susan B. Anthony was just walking down? Or
Yeah,
something?
what she was doing was promoting whatever her project happened to be at the time, and she was visiting people in the neighborhood going into yards. And when she wanted to enter my grandmother's yard where my mother lived, my grandmother didn't want her in the yard.
She's a
She
troublemaker.
says, don't go near her because she's trouble.
Fortunate enough to have a proclamation read to us from the governor in honor of Susan B. Anthony's birthday today. And Paul Hutchinson, town clerk of the town of Adams, is here to read the proclamation from the governor.
Thank you, Carol. Senator Downing was going to try to make it, but he had other plans. He couldn't make it to bring this proclamation from the governor, so you all are stuck with the second string. This is from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, a proclamation by His Excellency the Governor, Deval L. Patrick. Whereas Susan B. Anthony was born February 15, 1820 in Adams, Massachusetts. She was brought up in a Quaker family with long activist traditions. And whereas after teaching for 15 years, she became temperance. Because she was a woman, she was not allowed to speak at temperance rallies. This experience and her acquaintance with Elizabeth Cady Stanton led her to join the women's rights movements in 1852, and soon after, she dedicated her life to women's suffrage. And whereas, ignoring opposition and abuse, Anthony traveled, lectured, and canvassed across the nation for the right to vote. She also campaigned for the abolition of slavery, women's rights to own their own property and earnings, and women's labor organizations. In 1900, she persuaded the University of Rochester to admit women. And whereas, in recognizing the work of Susan B. Anthony, we acknowledge the accomplishments of both the abolitionist and women's suffrage movements, and renew the work of moving our nation to make real the promise of the Declaration of Independence. Now therefore I, Deval L. Patrick, Governor of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, do hereby proclaim February 15th, 2009 to be Susan B. Anthony Day, and urge the citizens of the Commonwealth to take cognizance of this event and participate fittingly in its observance. Given at the Executive Chamber in Boston, this 12th day of February in the year 2009, and of the independence of the United States of America, the 232nd, by His Excellency Governor Deval Patrick, Governor of the Commonwealth, attest William Francis Galvin, Secretary of the Commonwealth. God save the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
Thank you so much. Thank you. That was wonderful. Did you practice? We would like to have this, certainly we will display this, but we would like to have the state of Massachusetts have every February 15th dedicated to Susan B. Anthony. So that's our
Thank
next
you. I
mission.
guess.
Thank you so much.
For so long now I will wake up. I was dreaming of the school, fever in my head, from home,